Her greed led to her downfall. You won't believe the ending. An African true story. In a small African village nestled near the savannah, there lived a woman named Ayanda, known for her beauty and sharp intellect. Ayanda was the pride of her family. However, beneath her stunning exterior lay a heart consumed by ambition and greed. Ayanda dreamed of a life far beyond her modest roots, a life of wealth, power, and opulence. Her chance came when a wealthy businessman, Mr. Dlamini, arrived in the village. Dlamini was scouting for land to expand his agricultural empire. Sensing an opportunity, Ayanda charmed her way into his good graces, offering to help him connect with the local landowners. She saw Dlamini as her ticket to the life she always wanted, and nothing would stand in her way. Ayanda soon became indispensable to Dlamini, who admired her wit and resourcefulness. He entrusted her with sensitive negotiations and, eventually, control over significant transactions. Ayanda's family and friends were thrilled, believing she was helping bring prosperity to the village. But Ayanda had other plans. She secretly manipulated deals to her advantage, pocketing hefty sums from the land sales. She sold fertile lands for pennies to Dlamini, while convincing the villagers that it was for the greater good. As the money poured in, Ayanda began living a double life, lavish trips to the city, expensive jewelry, and luxurious clothes. Ayanda's newfound wealth raised suspicion, especially among the elders. They questioned how she had accumulated so much when the deals were supposed to benefit the community. However, Ayanda dismissed their concerns, accusing them of jealousy. Meanwhile, Dlamini, unaware of Ayanda's deceit, continued to trust her. But Ayanda's web of lies began to unravel when one of the villagers, an elderly woman named Mama Zingle, uncovered the truth. Mama Zingle discovered discrepancies in the contracts Ayanda had facilitated. With the help of a local lawyer, she began gathering evidence to expose Ayanda. At a grand celebration hosted by Ayanda, Mama Zingle chose her moment. Before the gathered crowd, she revealed the fraudulent deals Ayanda had orchestrated. The villagers were stunned as the evidence was presented: contracts, altered documents, and witness testimonies. Dlamini, furious at the betrayal, publicly confronted Ayanda. "You've not only betrayed me, but the very people who trusted you. How could you?" he thundered. Ayanda, cornered, tried to defend herself. "I did it for the betterment of my life, for survival," she cried. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. As punishment, Ayanda was stripped of her wealth and ostracized by the villagers. Dlamini revoked her access to his business, while Mama Zingle worked with the elders to renegotiate the land deals. The villagers slowly began to rebuild their community, ensuring fairer agreements moving forward. Ayanda, once the pride of her village, became a cautionary tale of greed and betrayal. Alone and disgraced, she wandered to the city, hoping to start anew, but the ghosts of her past haunted her, a reminder that ambition fueled by greed leads only to ruin. True success lies in uplifting others, not exploiting them. Greed and dishonesty may bring temporary gains, but they ultimately lead to a downfall that cannot be undone. Ayanda's rise to prominence in the village was swift and dazzling. She became the person everyone turned to, a bridge between the simple villagers and the wealthy businessman, Mr. Dlamini. At first, she truly believed she was helping the village. However, her initial good intentions soon gave way to greed when she realized how easily she could manipulate the process for personal gain. Mr. Dlamini trusted Ayanda implicitly. "You have a way with people," he once told her during a meeting. Your charm and intelligence are rare. I couldn't have made these deals without you." Ayanda beamed at his praise, but her thoughts were elsewhere. She had noticed discrepancies in the contracts and realized how simple it would be to siphon money into her account. What started as a small fee for her efforts turned into outright theft. Ayanda's schemes grew bolder as the weeks passed. She convinced the villagers to sell their most fertile lands at absurdly low prices, promising them that Dlamini would bring development and wealth to the region. In reality, she was forging higher price points in the contracts and pocketing the difference. Her newfound wealth began to show. Ayanda started wearing expensive clothes, hosting lavish dinners, and even bought a car, a rare luxury in the village. When questioned, she dismissed her extravagance as rewards for her hard work. But whispers of doubt began spreading. Mama Zinlo, the wise elder of the village, was the first to voice her suspicions. "Ayanda's wealth doesn't add up," she confided to the village council. "And why are our lands being sold for so little?" Strained relationships. Ayanda's family also began noticing changes in her behavior. Her younger brother, Thabo, once close to her, confronted her. "Ayanda, you're losing yourself. This isn't the sister I grew up with. What are you doing with all this money?" "I'm doing what's necessary to survive," Ayanda snapped. "Don't lecture me about morals when you're living off my success." Thabo left, disheartened. The rift between them grew, and Ayanda became increasingly isolated, surrounded only by her material possessions. Meanwhile, Mr. Dlamini's trust in Ayanda began to waver. One day, during a routine review of his accounts, he noticed inconsistencies. Payments were missing, and some contracts appeared to have been altered. At first, he thought it was an error, but his accountant confirmed that someone had been tampering with the documents. Dlamini decided to investigate quietly. He continued working with Ayanda, pretending everything was fine, but he started asking subtle questions and cross-checking her work. Ayanda, oblivious to his suspicions, continued her schemes, believing she was untouchable. One fateful day, Ayanda made a mistake that would set her downfall into motion. She accidentally sent a contract with the original price listed, forgetting to alter the figures. Dlamini noticed the discrepancy immediately. He now had the proof he needed. Instead of confronting Ayanda directly, Dlamini decided to gather more evidence. He enlisted the help of Mama Zinglo, knowing she was well respected in the village and had her own doubts about Ayanda. "I'll need your help to expose her," Dlamini told Zinglo. "But we must act carefully. She's clever and will try to cover her tracks." Mama Zinglo agreed, and the two began working together to uncover the full extent of Ayanda's deception.